FOXSOUL, our voice and our truth. What that means to me is simply being able to speak. When you don't speak, you don't have a voice. And everyone has a voice, and every voice deserves to be heard.
I don't issue no apologies, and you ain't never got a lot of me. Get your name scratched off like lotteries. Swear you hating what I'm doing, but you follow me. I let you tap into my life sagas, my best moments, my worst problems. Lifestyle of a bad bitch, unbothered. Watch me pop this city on the plane to Acapulco. Swear you hella global, but you still local. Since 14, had the game in the choke. I be hanging down in Houston where they leaning like a cholo. I be riding in the whip, so I face on solo. Diamonds stay dancing like go-go. Car got gadgets like go-go. V12 outrun Popo. Keep the metal on me like I'm Robo. Then give a shot one time for a bad bitch, and 2 times for hate who never had shit. I had to get it from the bottom, I ain't have shit. And when they make you still treat you like you have shit. Lifestyle and rich and famous and lavish. Translation fake phonies and savage. Where being average ain't average. Life's up, but I'm married to this bad bitch. I don't issue no apologies, and you ain't never got a lot of me. Get your name scratched off like lotteries. Swear you hating what I'm doing, but you follow me. I let you tap into my life sagas, my best moments, my worst problems. Lifestyle of a bad bitch, unbothered. I send these strips, I was talking what they gotta do. Had to switch up, had to throw the game on audible. I be on the beach, front house out in Malibu. Snuck through me a layup, but I turned it to an alley-oop. I can be your man, alibi, or his alibi. He spent all this money over here, won't acknowledge you. You ain't know you fucking with a boss, I can hire you. You be working hard for it, and they can fire you. Then give a shot one time for a bad bitch, and 2 times for hate who never had shit. I had to get it from the bottom, I ain't have shit. And when you make you still treat you like you have shit. Lifestyle and rich and famous and lavish. Translation fake phonies and savage. Where being average ain't average. Life's up, but I'm married to this bad bitch. I don't issue no apologies, and you ain't never got a lot of me. Get your name scratched off like lottery. Swear you hating what I'm doing, but you follow me. I let you tap into my lifestyle, my best moments, my worst problems. Yeah, lifestyle of a bad bitch, unbothered.
This record, Unbothered, is produced by H Snow Beats. I really love this record because it gives more of the soft side of Diamond, but I also still give you this sassy, unapologetic double time rhyme. It kind of reminds me of maybe a record that maybe Kanye would do, or one of those Meek Mill records that kind of like start off slow, then it kind of builds up. But I really love it because it's really talking about my mindset and where I am right now. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Diamond, a.k.a. Brittany Carpintero. I am Atlanta native, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Being born and raised in Atlanta, wow, the influence. First, I would say definitely we have a Southern hospitality. You know, I feel like I get my nurturing, comforting type of aura from being born and raised in the South. We like to party. We like to have a good time. If you know anything about our music, from the scene of music right now and the scene of music as far as back as you can remember, we always like to have a good time. I would kind of categorize it as like a cookout or a picnic. You know what I'm saying? That's something we do daily. We like to play music, cook out, barbecue, whatever, play some cards, kids running around, you know. Yeah, I would say if you had to sum up Atlanta, that's where Atlanta would be. I've loved music as far as I can remember. I remember my mom, she played in the church. She played the piano in the church, and my father was a DJ. So I was kind of being able to kind of like see the best of both worlds. My mom put me into the church, into the choir at a very young age. And then, like I said, my father was a DJ. So kind of having the mixture of like, you know, that DJ vibe, but also more of the singing, learning about the altos in the choir and the sopranos. Like the sopranos are the high-pitched singers, you know, all those different things that really I think all artists we still use to this day. That's where I get my initial root from both my mother and my father. So I was in church doing singing, and I think the transition from becoming like a singer to doing music was I had love for poetry. I always wrote poems, and I always kept me like a really thick book of different kind of poetry, like poems or whatever. So my sister, she was a singer / rapper as well, and she was in a group. And I think I would kind of like let her hear my poem. Like my poems were really, really dope that a lot of adults would like listen to them or read them and so forth and pass them like around the family. And she sat with me one day and was like, man, if you into poetry, you already did the music thing, we in a choir, whatever. She was like, that's pretty much what rapping is. It's just like poetry. So I think at that time is when we kind of like played. When back in the day we had those cassette tapes, so you have to like spin, like, these kids don't know nothing about it these days, but yeah. So what she did was she had a beat, instrumental or whatever, and she was like, I'm just gonna recite some of your poems. And literally, she started reciting my poems onto an instrumental, and I was like, oh my God, I want to rap. And from there, I think I was about 12. And then, of course, around that time is when I met my group members, Crime Mob. We were all going to the same middle school. And at the time, all of the guys in the group were doing their thing. And my other group member at the time, Princess, was kind of like trying to find her way. In one breath, they wanted to be around, but next, it's like, nah, it's all guys. So it kind of came full circle because me and Lil J had become really good friends. And I got a chance to meet all the other guys or whatever. And I knew Princess. We rode the same bus, but we didn't really talk as much or whatever. And then that's when I kind of was introduced to Princess by Little J. And then from there, he kind of helped me with some of my poems, with critiquing my poetry book, and showing me the same way that my sister showed me, like, okay, here's another beat. Now try this. Okay, you got that? Now here's another beat. So I'm literally just going through my poetry book and just perfecting and learning the craft. And then that's when I became like a student of the game. It's certain things you got to know about the people who came before you, the greats, and just studying everybody, and I just knew that from that moment that was my calling. This is what I was destined to do. Well, initially, when I had my little poetry book, I thought I was just going to be in there reciting poems somewhere, and everybody was just going to be like this. Like in my mind, you figure, Love Jones and stuff like that. But I liked it, the unity of being a part of something. Like I played in sports, basketball, cheerleading, drill team, softball, anything you can think of. And I always felt like I was a great team player. It really got me excited to be a part of a team. And I saw the unity with all the guys. And then I saw Princess, and I'm like, okay, well, she a girl, I'm a girl. And we had a lot of things in common. She was athletic as well. She played a lot of sports as well. And we were competitive. It's like kind of like, well, shoot, if the guys can do it, we can do it too. We had that kind of, and then we had this chemistry as if we had known each other for years. If we were like sisters, like she would start a sentence, I would finish it, or she would do a 1, 2, 3 dance step, and I would come back with the 3, 4. And we, like I said, we did a couple of songs. It was more so like the guys doing their songs and me and Princess doing our songs, and then that's how Nook If You Buck came about. Princess had already had a verse on Nook If You Buck, but one of the group members had went to jail, and there was an open spot. Now, by this time, we were still kind of like partying and performing at like house parties and clubs and stuff like that. So they were like, dang, well, we ain't gonna be able to perform so-and-so verse because he locked up. And then my verse for Nook If You Buck was for a whole nother song called Shake Your Dreads and Show Your Grill. And it was like, well, let's try to put this verse, see if this verse can go to this song. And I don't know if they tried to put it on the beat or I end up having to re-rap it. For that show, of course, I had to re-rap it. But at that time, it was something that we had to do quick because we had a show or whatever. And the reaction from the crowd, they loved it. And for some reason, that was the version, the CD that got burnt. Like back then, you would burn CDs, you know what I'm saying, to friends and friends and friends and whatever. And next thing you know, it was just like, that was a version that was getting played in the house parties. That was a version that allowed the radio station to call us and be like, hey, we need this record. Why don't we have it? And it was at a point of time to where you could not get your song played on the radio unless you had a record deal. You had to have a major record deal, record label pushing your stuff. So to be 14, 15 years old and to have a record to be, to have a record to break on the radio and not be signed to a label, to still be in school, was a pretty big deal. It was a pretty big deal for us. If it's my music, I'm gonna always give it 110. I don't believe in no bull. So I'll write 2 verses and tell them up and be like, that ain't it, and write another one. Stay tuned for more Tracks and Tales. So to be 14, 15 years old and to have a record to be, to have a record to break on the radio and not be signed to a label, to still be in school, was a pretty big deal. It was a pretty big deal for us. Well, shouts out to Lil Jon. That's my big brother. He gave us the opportunity that, I'm forever grateful for. He not only gave us the opportunity, he was honest and he did good business. Like, I have nothing negative to say about my brother Lil Jon. Like, not only is he a great performer, which we all can attest to see a little bit of him in us, but I can also sit down and have an intelligent conversation, like explain from A to Z. Like Lil Jon, I remember as if it was yesterday. We was at the warehouse and Lil J was like, at this time, all the other groups in Atlanta would get mad because we would close out. We weren't even old enough to even be in the club, so we either having to sit in the kitchen, backstage, somewhere in the parking lot, anywhere to not allow the club owner to lose their liquor license because we're not even old enough to be in here. But we got the hottest song, so we got to close the night out. At that time, Lil Jon was looking for additional acts. I think he had already had Scrappy and Trillville signed to the label, and they were looking for another talent. And it was like, Jon coming to the show. I thought about it, but I didn't really think he was coming until I saw him. I was like, oh my God, he here. He loved the show. I think the very next day, he had us and our parents to come to BME to do the paperwork for the deal. And I think at the time, the manager we had was the same manager that was managed by Scrappy as well, that kind of helped facilitate the deal and making sure that we were a part of BME Records. And I mean, literally our life changed. He took us on the road for some dates, did some touring. And like I said, just the knowledge that he gave us, and I still can get from him to this day, a really, really good friend, a good brother is a blessing. And as you can see, even with Lil Jon, it started somewhere, but it's not over. He now is in his own residency in Las Vegas and is doing, a lot of things. He just was on a Pepsi commercial, I mean, like I said, it's about the brand. And I think that's the most important thing I see throughout, from starting from the beginning to on up into now. It's about the brand expanding the brand, and the music being the base of the brand. I know it's funny that I was about 14, 15. I was the youngest. So it was funny because my stepfather was like, if you ain't in this house by 12 o'clock, and that's pushing it, my house is locked, these doors is locked. But my mom believed, in it. Not saying that my stepfather didn't believe in it, but he had his way, his rules. And my mom kind of like saw the traction, kind of was around a little bit more and was like, look, you just call me, send me a text when you outside. I'm going to stick you in, let you, So we would go through that, and it'd be funny because the group members would let me out, and then I'd be like tiptoeing. I'd be like, damn near, get in the house. Make it in there safe and sound. They'd be like, all right, then, Diamond, see you later. I'd be like, bruh, why would you do that? And then, like, even when it came to recording the first album, we recorded it in, like, 3 weeks. I remember getting off the bus from school, like, 3:30, 4 o'clock-ish. After that, I literally would have about 40 minutes to shower, get ready, pack my bag, and literally be at Patchwork Studios 6 p.m. that night and record from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and literally go straight from the studio to school every day for 3 weeks. It was a lot. I mean, I was literally falling asleep in class. I was doing my homework in the studio, but in school, I was writing verses. You know what I'm saying? So it was a great experience. I think that really helped shape me to be able to work great under pressure. That was like the first big test. Well, I feel like back in the day, it was always hard for myself and the other group member because we were females. And a lot of the stuff, you know, as you know, it's a man's world, a man's dominated game. So we would want to talk about certain subjects. We would want to be more feminine and more soft. Like, I remember when it came about me changing my hair, like me having those twist dreads was like such a cultural thing, so influential that it was to the point where when I was like, I want to do, you know, extensions, I want to do something, you know, get more soft or whatever, it was an issue. The guys was not having it. Promoters wasn't having it. They were like, when she comes, she need to have the dreads in her head. Like, it was a thing. And, you know, and I felt like it was a blessing, but at the same time, as a female, I want to be able to express myself as, you know, no different from when you get up and you change your clothes. It's like, well, if I'm wearing different drawers and I'm wearing a different outfit, bitch, I want to change my hair up sometimes, you know. But looking back on it, I understand the importance of it. But I also am thankful now to have more of a freedom to be able to express myself, not just because of the dues I paid back then, but as you said before, it's now pretty much a female-dominated game. It's a plethora of women in the forefront. So it is good to be different. It is good to be versatile and not to look like, you know, the girl next door, you know? I always idolize people like, of course, Lil' Kim, but Eve and the Brat. Eve more so, I really idolized her. She was like always my favorite because I saw so many different things in her that I saw in myself. Like, you figure Eve came from a group when she was holding her own, and it was a pretty girl, but every time she opened her mouth, it was gritty, it was disrespectful. You feel what I'm saying? Like, her fashion was always through the roof. You know, her hairstyles through the roof, and then she was able to act, do her own TV show. So it was always, for me, the full package. I never felt like I just wanted to stop at music. But then it was a time to where a lot of the stuff that we were talking about, our image and all of that stuff, wasn't really acceptable. Like, we had to polish it down, tone it down a lot. You know, the tattoos, the hair colors, you know what I'm saying? Like, the type of music that, the stuff that we were saying, the type of energy, like when we performing our songs, is fighting. Like, this ain't your typical everyday girl music type tip. You know what I'm saying? So I, you know, in addition to wanting to always work with the team, and I felt like I worked better being in a group, I still always saw music as being the foundation, as a platform, but also being able to expand my brand into other things. Well, the early studio sessions, first and foremost, everybody would record at Lil J house. He was the head producer. Even though all the guys produced, he had most of the studio equipment, or either had majority of the songs on his particular drive. So every time his dad would go to the store or his mom would go to the store, that's when we would record, because we had a lot of cussing and a whole lot of violence in our music. So he wasn't having it. He wasn't playing the radio with our ass. So have your together, go sit in the car, right? Sit outside on the porch, have your together. Because when my dad go to the gas station, on. For me, when I first started, which I feel like now, I'm a little better with writing fast, but I overthink a lot. Like, I don't care if it's a feature. If it's my music, I'm going to always give it 110. I don't believe in no bullshit. So I'll write 2 verses and tear them up and be like, that ain't it, and write another one. That wasn't at the time my strong point. Now I work better under pressure. Well, I still give a nice verse, but in my mind, I'd be like, damn, if I had more time, I could do better. But the people make sure that whoever I'm, you know, doing the music with, they're happy, of course. But it would be a situation to where every single time we would vote, because sometimes 6 people couldn't get on the song. So it was like whoever had the hardest verse. So out of 6 people, only more than likely 4 people, sometimes 5, was making the record. So we would have to just let everybody lay their vocals, and whoever had the hardest verse would stay. Then the argument would come with the girls. It's like, well, damn, we want to come up with a hook. Y'all always got to come up with a hook and say what the subject matter is about. We want to talk about girl stuff. Da, 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 da. So that's how Stilettos came about. Because my girlfriend at the time, Miss Aisha, was like, I got a song called Stilettos. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, it could be like a female version, kind of like how you got Air Force Ones, but it could be stilettos. So she had the concept of it, and then me and her got together and we wrote it. And then when I played it, the hook for Lil J, he was like, oh man, this dope. I got to make a beat for it. And that's how we was able to get Stilettos on there. So if you really pay attention, the second album, it didn't really kind of get a little more girly to like, that's how MIG came up with the hook for Rocky Hips, because he knew how much of an influence the Stilettos record had on the women from the first album. It was like, okay, well, we're going to do this shit again. And Rocket Hips actually charted higher than Knuck If You Buck. So as long as we had something where we could represent the girls again, y'all already come up with the tracks, y'all already come up with the hooks. We just got to write our verses. That's fine. But y'all going to give us another record, one record. And the fact that we didn't even have to ask for it, the fact that MIG literally was like, this it right here. This is Knuck If You Buck and Stilettos put together. Rocket Hips in their mind was like hood, but sexy.
If you buck, Lil J on the track. Look, if you duck, if you duck, hey, it's time for all the security. Look, if you get around.
Stay tuned for more Tracks and Tales. When we made Knuck If You Buck, it was more the reaction, because around that time it was like fight DVDs. Like basically people would create, it'd be fights in the club, a camera guy would be there, and whatever fight music was on at the time, that's what they would put it with. And for some reason, Knuck If You Buck, the footage playing behind with them fighting with Knuck If You Buck and then us actually like performing it, like when it got to the point where people was outside our shows protesting with signs up, or we having helicopters flying over the venue and they AR-15s and all, like, okay, you know, this for real, you know what I'm saying? But I personally felt like as I was writing my verse to Rocket Hips, I felt the chills. I knew that it was going to be a big, I knew Rocket Hips was going to be a big record. Like it was no doubt in my mind that I knew that was going to be a huge record, you know what I'm saying? And even now you think about TikTok, it's like almost, 8 billion? If just my verse alone on TikTok is like 8 billion, I don't know the right word, reels, or 8 billion views or whatever up under, you know, Rocket Hips. So again, we understand that this is bigger than us. As you said, it's a Negro spiritual, Knuck If You Buck, but just us as a whole, it's for the culture. If people look back at our blueprint and saw how we started so young and is still, you know, able to perform this song, we've done so much more. And, you know, again, here we are. It was in a movie, literally a hot movie that just came out within the last month, a church movie. It was in P-Valley, you know, so it's a blessing. It really is a blessing to still be able to have a record that was created almost 20 years ago still have such an impact.
Look, if you buck, look, if you buck, y'all remember this classic? This is the reason I'm able to still be here to this day. Negro spiritual. Look, J on the track. Look, if you duck, hey, it's time for all the security. Look, if you get around, it's going down. I come in the club, shaking my dreads, throwing these bows and busting these heads. Shift your relevant steps on my residence, best way to go, I feel you will let. I been a diamond, coming in the grind, not leaving a trace, not leaving a line. We looking at bucking, cause I got a 9, I blow you away, cause you wasting my time. Stupid little haters, I know what to do. I waste your ass, you mess with my crew. I'm through what you haters, so why should you do? You talking about me, then I'm talking to you. You bucking on us, and we leave your place. You busting on me, that shit gon' get nasty. I'm colder than ice, and I'm freezing my hair. I target your city, but you cannot tell. Look, if you buck, 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 Southside, and I'm still screaming M. If you buck, look, if you buck, look, if you buck, if you buck, look, if you buck, look, if you buck, if you buck,
D-M-O-B, boy. I think the energy from Knuck If You Buck kind of stems from the Bills. It's the Bills and then that bass drop. I think in the era of fighting, I mean, everybody fights, right? But fight music, we kind of just took it and just made it to like the times a trillion, right? Because we put females on there. And you have the whole back and forth between the dynamics of the guys chanting and yelling and then the girls coming back and shouting. I think that a lot of people really like the whole back and forth of having the girls to come with it just as hard as the guys. And shoot, we get busy. Girls get busy too now. Lil J is the producer of Nook If You Book. He probably came up with the order of the way that Nook If You Book start. He has the first verse on the record, and then his sister Princess has the second verse. Then you got the hook, and it's the third verse is MIG. The fourth verse is me, the hook again, and then it ends out with Money Black.
Good J on the track. And you already know. It's your boy Lil Scrap. Finna have the whole world rocking in this. Look at Shawty. Check out how it when she rock her hips, then wave and sip. She rock her hips, then wave and sip. She rock her hips, she rock her hips, she rock her hips, then wave and sip. Now I got 32 flavors of that bootylicious bubblegum. Raspberry, grape, cherry, come and get this honey bun. Yummy, yum, baby, not your ordinary lady. Known to drive a hater crazy, Willy Wonka wanna hate. On the daily, off the hills, around my heels, will shake my skittles, soda pop it, watch it sizzle. Man, this chick right here's the shizzle. Smoking on the highest drizzle, wanna taste it just a little. Rock my hips and made, wiggle, waving, sipping in this blizzard. She rock her hips, then wave and sip. She rock her hips, then wave and sip. She rock her hips, she rock her hips, she rock her hips, then wave. I like it when she rock her hips, then wave and sip. She rock her hips, then wave and sip. She rock her hips, she rock her hips, she rock her hips, then wave and sip. Hey.
This next record, Rocky Hips, of course, is a classic. This is probably going to be my all-time favorite because of where I was when I wrote the verse and how I felt. I was literally in my parents' home, in my house, in my bedroom. I knew for a fact that this record would be a banger for the ladies. I mean, the dance literally has 1 billion views on TikTok to this day. To this day. So, yeah. The thought process going into Rocky Hips was we wanted another party record, not necessarily a fighting record like Nook If You Book, but more of a dancing record and something that would make the ladies get on the dance floor. Pimp C, rest in peace, Pimp C, who was also a great mentor to me too. I never forget, he did an interview with Ozone magazine and they asked him, like, when you get out, name like your top 3 or 4 people you want to work with. And it was all guys. I think he said Boosie, Webby, and some other people. But shit, he was like Diamond. I was like, oh shit. And literally, a man of his word, rest in peace. When he got out, he found me. He found me, put me up on game. We got in the studio. I was so nervous and at awe that we was even in the studio that I don't really feel like I came with my best of working from scratch. So he was like, you know what? And it was just time was going by because he just put me on game with so much. He was like, f it. You got something? What you got? I'll just hop on something you got. And I had a track that I was going to put on my mixtape because I was always dropping mix CD after mix CD. I think I got about a total of 13 mix CDs that I've dropped from when I started up until now. And the record was so dope that the label was like, we putting him on there. Because back, the first album was like, well, it's like 5 of y'all. Y'all don't really need no features. You want the world to get a chance to know who everybody is. Second time was like, we'll do features, but it's got to be limited. You know, so shouts out to Pimp C for that. And also shouts out to Mike Jones. Mike Jones, that's another good brother who has also did mentoring for me as well. Very intelligent, up on his shit, up on his business. And he blessed us as well with the feature. And that kind of, you know, Texas is huge. I mean, you can go platinum in the state of Texas alone. So I think that really kind of like brought us tighter with our Texas fans, Houston, you know, Dallas, Austin, you know, and so forth. So yeah, I think the second album was more polished, a bit commercial, a little, and also, like I said, allowing us to be able to have features with other celebrities as well. Well, first off, I never saw myself as being a solo artist. I really feel like I work better with a team, with a group of people. I'm definitely a great team player. At the time, I wasn't seeing eye to eye with the other female member. I was nominated for the Dirty Chick of the Year awards, and They wanted me to walk by myself at that time. It wasn't like I didn't feel like I was better than anybody. It's just like, this was my moment. Me walking still means I represent them. Like, even to this day, when we had our issues and we kind of went our own separate ways, they still represent me. I still represent them. Like, it's like a family thing. You know, we are the core, you know. We didn't have a conversation. It was, at the time, management passing messages through each other. So it came across like, oh, from what the manager at the time said, well, she said, if you don't walk the group no more, you don't walk with the group for this award show for the red carpet, you can't be in the group. I was like, what? All right, you know, people, you know, you family or whatever, friends, sometimes you get into it, people say things, whatever. So at the time I was dating someone else, and we got there probably 30 minutes later, and then that's when people were like, oh, well, Diamond, how does it feel to no longer be a member of Crown? I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, shit, okay, well, because I'm not in the group. Well, yeah, you know, solo album coming soon, you know, da-da-da-da-da. You just kind of like winged it or whatever, and the amount of opportunities from that day on, it was like, oh my God, I can't go back. And if I do go back, I got to establish some things first on my own, so that way I didn't never want to be put in that position again.
You know I'm a flirt. You know I'm a flirt.
Come celebrate music culture with Tracks and Tales exclusively on FOXSOUL. I poured into the people throughout that time that I felt adapted to the new lifestyle. It was people that knew me as Brittany but understood what Diamond had to do, what Diamond's purpose was. And they were the ones who saw me where I am today as a solo artist, saw it like way past what I could see. Cause I just didn't see it, you know. And they were my rock, like my father, Poppy, like my dad, he was like, you gonna be fine. I never forget, it was Poppy, my little brother Alejandro, my little brother Enrique, and we was at Waffle House. And we was praying and stuff, and they was like, you gonna get through this. Like, people love you. Like, and that's when I started getting all those opportunities. So a part of me was like excited, but another part felt like I was betraying them and like I was cheating. Like, I'm like, no. I mean, that's when I had Vibe magazine did a spread on me. I did 106 in Park. I got an endorsement deal with Fila. Then I got me a solo deal. Like, everything just started happening so fast, bruh. But my family is the ones that really held me down, and that was my rock throughout it all. But, you know, I had my journey. I was able to establish my name outside of the group, meet a lot of great people, and still to this day now, I'm able to be back with my group members and do things with my group members. But if I still have to do solo things, I can do solo things, which I think kind of drives them to also pursue more of their solo career, like step more out in the forefront individually, because we all see now that the more we bring in individually and bring back to the core as a whole will just help the full crime mob name as a whole in general. And I think that's something that age, you know, and time, as they say, time heals all wounds, like that had to play a part. And most important, the people. Wow. It's kind of like you go through, people break up like a relationship, and then like you can't even go nowhere. Like, dang, man. Like, say it's a couple like Blue and Black. Like, dang, Black, how you doing, man? I really hate you and Blue broke up. You see Blue. Hey, Blue, how you doing, man? I hate you and Black. It was like one of those things to where it was like, look, at this point, it's just bigger than us. The people love us. This is what they want. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't the people. You know, the people are the consumers. You can never forget about, you know, these are the people that buy into us. So why not give the people what they want? And I think that was the strong force of getting everybody back together. Like, it's like, don't with the culture. Like, it's just the thing. The culture want it, we giving it to them. Any differences you got, you leave that at the door. But when you hit this stage, you're going to get the people what they want. And I think that's just, you know, like I said, our mindset and where we are. And back then, that was our mindset, and that's our mindset now that has allowed us to be able, like I said, to have movie placements, to be able to be on the Millennium Tour. This same tour we were on when we were kids, when we was 19. Wouldn't even, never forget, story time. Never forget, it was so funny. We did a show in Vegas. It was Bow Wow, Crime Mob, Baby Huey, Lloyd, Chris Brown. I've got somebody else. Man, we was all excited. We all on the tour bus together thinking we finna go to an after party in Vegas. Woo woo, after party. Man, the owner of the club came on that bus and said, Diamond, a.k.a. Brittany Carpentero, your birthday is May, da-da-da. You're not old enough, da-da-da. Like, he went and gave everybody name, everybody's stage name, and then everybody government name, everybody birthday name was like, nope, you ain't coming in, you ain't coming in, you ain't. Oh, but Bow Wow, come on, you come on in. We was like, no! They let his ass on there. We laugh about that to this day, boy. They let him on there. Probably kept him in the kitchen for a while. I don't know, but yeah. It's just funny how the universe works and how everything always come back full circle.
Twisted genius, baby. You know I'm a flirt. I be fine as hell in some sneakers or a skirt. These diamond on Dan, why them up? Twerk. Get my own money so that flexing don't work. Don't get your feeling hurt. You know I'm a flirt. Blocking from my pay, but them still lurk. In love with the money, thumb through it like a clerk. You want me, I don't wanna, I don't think that gon' work. Don't get your feeling hurt. You know I'm a flirt. You know I'm a flirt. You know I'm a flirt. You know I'm a flirt, flirt, hey, you know I'm a flirt, big flirt, bad flirt, I'm the worst. It was so good, had to put it in a verse. I need a big stepper who be putting in that work. I'm a PIMP, baby, put it in my hearse. 99 problems that it ain't no nigga. Ain't on nobody, you know I'm a go-getter. I can show you how to get your bankroll bigger. Rule number 1 is no bro. You know flirt, I be fine as hell in some sneakers or a skirt. These diamonds don't dance while these twerk. Get my own money so that flexing don't work. Don't get your feeling hurt. You know I'm a flirt. Blocking from my pay, but still lurk. In love with the money, thumb through it like a clerk. You want me, I don't wanna, I don't think gon' work. Don't get your feelings hurt. You know I'm a flirt. You know I'm a flirt. You know I'm a flirt. You know I'm a flirt, flirt. Hey, you know I'm a flirt. That damn driving crazy. Tell her I'ma have his baby, not your ordinary lady. Birdie Telly, I'm Mercedes. That damn driving crazy. Tell her I'ma have his baby, not your ordinary lady. Booty belly, I'm Mercedes. Flirt. I be fine as hell in some sneakers or a skirt. These diamonds don't dance, why these twerk? Get my own money so that flexing don't work. You gon' get your feeling hurt. You know I'm a flirt. Blocking from my pay, but them still lurk. In love with the money, thumb through it like a clerk. You want me, I don't wanna, you gon' think this shit gon' work. Don't get your feelings hurt. You know I'm a flirt. 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 Flirt. Hey, you know I'm a flirt.
This next record is my new single called Flirt. I love Flirt. Shouts out to Twisted Genius. He's the producer because it's so right now, right? It's party. I'm from Atlanta, the South. We love to party. We love to have a good time. But it's not only now, it's just like, who's not a flirt, right? Everybody like to flirt here and there, right? Flirting could be harmless, right? And people always say, Diamond, you a flirt. You a flirt. You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. You a flirt. So it's kind of ironic that we came up with this record, Flirt. And again, this is something that's gonna make the ladies get on the dance floor, throw that in the circle, you know what I'm saying? Have a drink in the air. You know, we can, and let down the hair for sure. The state of female hip-hop rappers now. I think the state of female rappers is getting better now. First, I would have said, if you would have asked me this question last year, more collaborations. But now I think that we're understanding more so that everybody, up and coming, new, old, young, old, that there's room for everybody. And I think now we need more collaborations from the older generation and the younger generation. Now we got everybody collaborating, but we need more to get the Eves, the Foxies, the Gangsta Boos, the Little Chats. You know, of course, Trina, Trina has been doing a great job, as well as being able to continue to pour into the younger generation, which they all pour into us, the names, and it's some other names that I haven't named, but I think I have a unique position more so than anybody because I'm right in the middle. I might be able to be the one to be able to grab, like I said, a Eve, a Queen Latifah, you know, a Missy, which we'll talk about Missy as well, and then snatch up let's say a Gorilla, a Glorilla, young baby Tate, you know what I'm saying? And bridge that gap. I think that's what we need right now. We need another, kind of like what Kim did with Ladies Night. I think we need 1 or 2 of those records right now to kind of really seal the deal, because we're in the era of women and it's not going anywhere. It's more women than men, obviously, right? I don't think it's going anywhere no time soon. I think that we're more powerful together and collaborate. And it don't have to necessarily be music. It could be collaborating on fashion together. It could be collaborating on hair. Just that unity of women definitely goes a long way with inspiring the next female or the up-and-coming generation. I want people to remember me as a caring, beautiful person that never stopped, always saw me working to continue to be better, you know, to expand and to pour into people and to give back.
Reminiscing about when I could stand you. You a bird, you a clown, can't stand you. And it's all paid off, no rental. I've been managing the things you couldn't handle. You're making bad decisions.
You know, people that are like, oh, this is how you do artistry and this is how you're supposed to be a successful artist. Like, yeah, but our voice, our truth, and that means that I can unapologetically say what I want to say and, you know, live my life the way I want to and project my art the way that I need to. I write music for myself, and that could mean the girls that look like me, the girls who think like me, the guys who think like me, people who have been through things similar to things that I have been through, people who have similar trauma to me, people who don't, like, you know, anybody who sees themselves in me in any capacity. So I write music for myself. My favorite thing about being an artist is probably like the way I can express myself unapologetically, and it's kind of my job to express myself a little bit. So that's probably my favorite thing. And then the people that I touch, like the people that listen to my music, and, you know, I'll get messages about how a song got somebody through a dark place or whatever. And I feel like that is really one of the main reasons why I do it, because I've been in low places and music is really impactful. So yeah. The most difficult thing about being an artist is that it can be inconsistent. And you have high highs and you have low lows, and nobody can really tell you how things are supposed to go. Like, it's not like you do things for this long and then you'll get promoted and then you'll go to this and you'll be making this amount of money. Like, it's kind of, you know, ups and downs, and you kind of just have to trust yourself and trust God, and you're never gonna know, you know, everybody's journey is different. Like, there's no right way to do it. There's no map. You know, people that are like, oh, this is how you do artistry and this is how you're supposed to be a successful artist. Like, yeah, but no. Like, you know, so that's kind of the hardest thing. It's like nobody really knows what they're doing.
You told me to be still, be patient. Everything that's coming's worth a little waiting. Broke me down to shreds, it's such a shame. I've been trying to find the version of myself worth saving. Told me do better, so that's what I did. Head underwater, now I guess I couldn't handle it. Putting the pieces everywhere. between here. 'Cause it's better than drugs, and your love is a must. Can't explain what it was that you don't want be enough. So here I am in the same place, still doing the same thing. I'm still looking, I'm still looking. I was looking, but my love wasn't enough. I was looking for love, but it wasn't enough. I was looking, I was looking, I was looking.
One thing people wouldn't know about me, that I write all of my music, maybe. And that I am the youngest of 3 sisters. I grew up in an all-female household, yeah. My dad sings, and my grandmother sings, and my grandfather sings, and my auntie sings, and my cousins sing, and my uncle sing, and my auntie sing. But yeah, everybody on my dad's side. My dad was an artist for a long time, and my mom has been in the music industry my entire life before I was born. So I kind of just grew up seeing music in every capacity all the time. And, you know, I grew up in the church. I was in the choir, and I got all the little solos and things like that. So I think that played a big part. And, you know, growing up and singing in the church was really important to my family. So, yeah, that inspired me. If I had to put them in order, gospel, R&B, then hip-hop, for sure. That's my order. I feel like gospel's a little underrated outside of the church. Like a lot of people are always talking about how like R&B is missing soul, R&B is missing that, R&B is missing this, but it's like gospel has all the things that people are feeling like R&B is missing, and it's like that's where all the soul and the oomph and the, you know, that people are sometimes looking for in R&B, where R&B has kind of chilled down and become a lot more calm. And then R&B is just undefeated as an R&B singer. But yeah, R&B is just kind of undefeated in the way where it's like stories being told always, and like it's more emotion driven. And then hip hop is cool. I like hip hop. I'm not a hip hop girl, I'm not gonna lie, but I do have like my moments with like hip hop, you know, Lil Baby or whatever, like, yeah.
You're making bad decisions, loving on average women. Said you wouldn't do it and you did it. I'ma pull up on your block and spin it. Reminiscing about when I could stand you. You a bird, you a clown, can't stand you. And the sub paid off, no rental. I've been managing the things you couldn't handle. You're making bad decisions, loving on average women. Said you wouldn't do it and you did it. I'ma pull up on your block and spin it. Your real life sleazy, fast pass easy. Now you tryna see me, boy, I'm sleeping. I just took a trip with your mans, now you weeping. I just hit a lick on the chick, you was creeping. I'm the best you'll ever have, best you'll ever pull. I've been outside, like I know I should. Make me go back, used to be good. Just another broken-hearted girl from the hood. I heard you caught another body. You're really for everybody, dealing with anybody. They don't gotta talk about it, 'cause I don't wanna crash no parties. I was on your back like Harley, now I'm getting flued out like Harvey. You wanna know if I miss you, Harley? Sorry, but I'm still not sorry. And if that drunk text sends, don't read into it too much. Don't feed into it too much. Always got my wheels turning like a school bus. Gotta draw the line here. You're making bad decisions, loving on average women. Said you wouldn't do it and you did it. I'ma pull up on your block and spin it. Your real life sleazy, fast pass easy. Now you tryna see me, boy, I'm sleeping. I just took a trip with your mans, now you weeping. I just hit a lick on the chick, you was creeping. The best you'll ever have, best you'll ever pull. I've been outside, like I know I should. Make me go back, to be good. Just another broken-hearted girl from the hood. Paying for affection, and you kissed her, you licked her. Now it's on sight 'cause I dissed her. Laughing at that trick with my sister. So glad that I cut you out the picture. 'Cause I'm the best you'll ever have. I'ma get even before I get mad. I'ma get pissed before I get sad. How you turn something so good, so bad, yeah. How you turn something so good, so bad, yeah. I'ma get even before I get mad.
Probably Neo inspired me to be a songwriter, to be such a, have that play such a big part in my artistry, being a songwriter. Yeah, I grew up in the music industry, so I grew up around it and seeing, artists in the studio and how important that is. So yeah, I would say Neo inspired me when it comes to my songwriting. My ultimate music goal is to take over the world and to change the world and to bring something that has been missing in music, something that people maybe didn't think was missing, and, kind of shift things in a positive direction. In 5 years, I will be your favorite artist.